Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about Drupal site builder and my thoughts about the certification of the Drupal site builder. I'm going to talk about 3 sections. Is it worth taking the exam? Why should I take the exam? And how to prepare for the exam. Okay, here's a question. Do I have to take the test? You have to ask yourself. Is it worth to do that? First thing, you have to pay lots of money. It's not cheap, $155 for the site builder and $250 for the developer, and much more for the specialist, theming, and backend specialist. So it's expensive. The good thing for me is my boss will cover everything about it. So I will try my best to pass all of them. Exams. Yeah.
What's the difference between the backend specialist exam and the developer exam?
Which one?
The backend specialist exam and the developer exam?
Developer exam like a medium level in Drupal developer, and the specialist you are master in Drupal, building module, building thing. Specialist backend means a lot of things. You have to dig into the code. Yeah, very difficult. And another thing is the time. You have to spend your professional development time and your weekends on the test. We have like a professional development program in our company, so support like 25% for the first 2 months when you start something. And after that, you have 1 day per week for the PD time. It's totally not enough for pass the test. You have to take your weekend and the night to working on something, build a site, do something exactly about the Drupal 8. And I'm a developer in Drupal. I'm very professional in Drupal 7. I'm senior Drupal developer, but Drupal 8 is another word, totally another word for the developer. So it's really helpful and worth to working on a Drupal 8 and take the test and learn something, and it will be perfect. So if I'm boss, I will require my employee to take the test to pass at least to the site builder and developer. This is a basic requirement for my employee. So it's worth to do, totally worth. Why should I take the test? As I talked about, it's huge differences between the D8 and D7. If you are a site builder, it's much better. But if you are a developer, it's totally another story. So you have to learn new things. Professional in D7 doesn't mean you are professional in Drupal 8. His example, my boss, he's advanced Drupal 8 developer. He also gave a lot of sessions to teach somebody else to learn Drupal 8 module, theming, site build. But the first time he failed the test for the site builder. And my another colleagues, he just failed at the first time for the site builder. Even just he's a web developer, but he failed for the site builder. So it's not easy to pass the test. Take it serious and work hard. How to prepare the site build exam? We have 2 sections today. A first session it will be site builder, another will be developer. So for the site builder thing, there's no requirement about any programming stuff. Don't worry about theming, programming, no code. Not require any knowledge of contribute modules. Everything focus on the Drupal core, all the core modules. And will be cover how to build admin the website through the admin UI learning. So not required D7. Just master Drupal 8 core, every module. I mean, every module, not just you check off them, uncheck off them, everything. And every piece of the configuration goes through all the configuration, even like a field type, how to use image, a bunch of things, just understand and learn. How to prepare for the developer exam. So there's no question about any simple admin functionality is advanced issue. D7, it will be helpful if you are professional in D7, but not too much. Yeah.
No question about any simple admin functionality.
That means
That's saying there's no simple question, or that there's no question.
Good question. That means in the test, they will not ask any simple question about how to create a content type, how to create a view. No such questions in the test. They almost combine at least two concepts in one question. For example, we'll combine the view and the term. So something like that. It's not a simple thing. You create a page, how to create page, edit a page. No such thing there. Okay. One thing about it, just to focus on the new features of in Drupal 8. I got a couple questions, I believe, but some guys take a test and got many questions about the new features. So I just recommend to know about the new features in Drupal 8. In the dig into source code, I mean, what the source code, go to the Drupal core code, exactly module code, whatever. Go to the book module, see all the code, start from info file, YAML file, service file, routing file, go to the PHP code, the classes object programming code there. Good thing, this is a new, it's not new, it's new in Drupal 8. I got two questions about this annotation, so take care, learn it. Drupal 8 changed the way to define the entity. You use it in Drupal 7, you just write something in the code function, right? You define block, whatever, no such thing anymore. Annotation is called document annotation. It looks like a comment. So everything is in the comment, /* and end/*, and it looks like comments. I will show example later. You can take clear about what annotation. Yeah, thank you. Just kidding. It's really boring about this thing. It's just I show something, so just kidding. Next, I will be talk about in details about site builder. Of course, blocks and menus as a top topic. Started hard because I got many questions related to the blocks. Not just what's block, how to use block. It's like how to use block in a view. Something like that. It combines two things in one question. Okay. How to play block, place block, config block. This is a basic idea you must understand. One thing about every option with block is some advanced options in the block when you set up. So you need to understand what exactly it is. Like it's called a display mode. You can use display mode in block. That's a question I got. So you understand block is not enough. You have to understand what's a display mode. Configure entity and block in multiple region. That's a good thing. Block is called the content configuration entity. The configuration means you can place in a UI web page to place somewhere, multiple places in multiple regions. The menus the UI is simple. It's very similar in D7, so I'm not talking too much about here. Content entity. This is a basic idea in the Drupal 8. Drupal 8, you have to understand the concept about the content entity and the configuration entity. I will give example later in the developer session. It's more complicated thing there. So here's example. What things are the content entity? Article is a content entity? No, it's a bundle. It's a configuration entity. And a page is a bundle. Bundle is a configuration entity. But you create a page, you have to create page content entity first, then you create a configuration entity called page, just same name, but totally two things there. And I think user, user is a content entity. Mm-hmm. So here is the things is a content type and a bundle. You have to understand it's a basic idea. I don't want to talk about too much. Yeah. Yeah, view is configuration entity, not a content entity. But you have to create at backend, backend program, there is a content entity called a view, but you create a view based on the view content entity. So what we are using on the user interface is configurable. So that means it's configuration entity.
Contact form.
Contact form. I forgot it. I don't know. Contact form. It's configuration because contact form can be configured. You can change it. Yeah. Okay. Just go to the Drupal document and learn something from what's the content entity and what's the configuration entity. I will talk about it later in the developer. Content type, this is basic idea, same as D7, have nothing to talk about right now. So you should be. One thing about the fields about the content type, I said there's no question like how to create a content type in the test, but there's a question like how to add comments into your page. So that means you have to comments entity and they have a content type and page entity. So you have to connect each other, use an entity reference in the field. Let's talk about the fields. That's another thing. Fields is plugging. So totally technical, but if you're a site builder, it should be okay. You just understand how to use it. So there are many fields types like image, text, long text, list, entity reference, term can be used as fields. So try to do something, create a content type, and link these fields into your content type to build something complex content type on your site and do something, play with it. You can understand the detail about it. Taxonomy and term. This is also a different thing from the Drupal 7 because Drupal build everything based on entity. So taxonomy is entity. You can build a lot of things. You can change the vocabulary. Okay, here's the thing I'm talking about. Taxonomy is content entity, but the vocabulary you create is a configuration entity. So you can change the add fields to the vocabulary and the terms. So here's you have to understand the how to link reference vocabulary, link a term to a content type, and you have to understand when do I need to create a new vocabulary, or we just create a new content type. I got one question, something like this one. It gave a scenario, give you a story, so you choose one of the best answers in the test. So something like that, you have to understand. Yeah, one more thing about the view. If you're Drupal 7 developer, should be okay. It's relationship and contextual filters. It's advanced in the view, but you will have this question in the test because it's a very serious problem in the view. So I got many questions about the views, so I started out. One thing, just try to do something like create a view for blog page and even RSS feed. And one thing you should go through about the Drupal admin user interface. Everything is a view. So you can even change the admin view to, for example, I want to show the page, show the user, show the time, show the extra field you want, just to change the view and play with it. One thing about the cache in the view, maybe most of guys will be just ignore this issue, but I got one question about the cache in the view. It's really, I have never used it before, but it's really one question there. That's
Excuse
talking
me,
about.
you hit that how to set it up. It's already set up, isn't it? So you can't.
It's set up in the core, but you have to set up the in by yourself. You create a customer view. You can set up the cache in the UI, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's a thing. But this question, I cannot remember my question, but it's related to this one. It's advanced, not just tell me how to set a cache. It's something about another thing, like a performance issue. And so I choose the answer for the view because I created the view. So about the question is about performance, but it's related to the view. Okay. This is a new feature in the Drupal 8. To be honestly, I have not totally understand everything about the display mode. It's complex, it's a new thing. A little bit of a logical problem for me to understand, but I just try something, create a new view mode and put in the content type, either put into the view and the view it. You can learn something from it. How to different with same content type? Yeah, here's a question. I got another one. They give us story. They tell you they have something, this one and another page. In the view, create a 2-page with different display issues. Like this one, I want to display the author's name, but this one I want show the user ID. So for this case, how to deal with? So this one, you use a view mode. You create a custom view mode, and you load different view mode in the view. Page 1 in the view 1, page 2 in the view 2. So you can resolve something like this. It's interesting. Okay, waterfall mode is a part of the display mode. It's just definition. I think I have nothing to talk about it. Yeah, here's what I talk about it. We have the manage fields for each content type, right? We also have a manager for display. One most popular thing is about image. You have the image style. You define your custom style, like small thumbnail, medium thumbnail, big page, widescreen page. So that thing you have to manage about the form display to show something there. Yeah, here's the screenshot from there. That's talk about the display mode. You can create a new, this is the default. In the Drupal, you can create others by yourself. Comments, contact form, and extensions. What special features of the comments in Drupal 8? That means comments in entity. So if you want to add comments to content type, you have to add a new field. For example, in a page content type, and this field will be entity reference. So the question, something like that, will be asked in the test. And okay, another thing about the content comments, they have another feature called a customer comments type. You can create a new comments type like a content type. So it's really flexible when you try to give different groups, users with different comments. Like you have an admin group, you can post everything, rich text, even post the code. But for the general thing, you have to create like another comments type, just allow you to post the basic pure text, something like that. My colleague got one question for this one, so I post here. Here's saying, what's the relationship between the contact form and the entity? That's a question. I cannot remember right now, but you just look at, read a document on Google. You're very clear. Another thing is the install module thing. This is the basic thing where they will not ask you how to install a module. They will maybe give you a couple of modules and give you a story. So you pick one of them. Which one is the best for your case? That's a question, something. User role permission. Okay, here's thing. You can add the custom fields to the user. That user is configurable. So how to create can create cancel user account, how to add a row. It's the basic stuff. You have to understand, you have to know how to. Oh, here's a question now. Why an editor cannot change the page? They give a story, tell you cannot change, so you have to give answer. What's wrong with it? Something like that. Okay, here is a setup view permission. It will be simple thing, just to use a permission in the view. You get the permission, a tab, and just check it. Okay, here's a story for the test. So they have like different groups, like manager, publisher, content editor. So you have to figure out a solution in the test to which one is the best for this story. Something like that. It's not just create a row or create a permission. You have to connect 3 of them together at the same time. Configuration, I believe you guys know a lot of things about configuration, synchronization, a bunch of things. So here's I did create 2 sites. One is dev, one production. The database should be unique, so you can just synchronize data there. How to import configuration from copy site to another. First, full site import single. Just try to play with it. Import, export configuration from dev to prod, from prod to dev. So how to fix the conflicts after import? They will give some give some 4 choices, gives different answers. You just pick one of them. What happened for the conflicts? So you have to exactly working on something, you have some conflicts in your code, then you can figure out what's wrong. Otherwise, you have no idea what happened for the conflict, right? Okay, this is content type is very popular in Drupal 7. I think nothing special for right now. A few comments, entity reference, taxonomy. Just try all of them, especially entity reference to the content type. Okay, here's a story. What happened if a term is deleted, but this term is referenced by another cluster content type? Do you guys have such experience before?
Well, I had to do something like that at one point, but what I did was to just create a new database, a new table in the database of complete content from the old term.
I had a lot of problem before because other content editor just randomly delete something, but this content is a reference to others, so it's just take the page down, totally down. I have to go to the log file to see what's wrong with it. And both in 7 and in 8, the same problem. So you have got a question like this one in the test. Okay, here's saying, what happened if a node is unpublished, which is referenced by another? What happened? You have no idea? Yeah, it's empty page. Yeah, give you an empty page, but still get some error and log message. Maybe they will give one of choice in the question and show the log message and there. So that's your answer there. You can know what's wrong with it. What for language? I'm not talking about how to install the modules, configure them. I just talk about the story in the test. Okay, here's the story. When to set up a second language for current site, the language package cannot be downloaded automatically. How to fix it? Has a good experience before? Technically, it should be automatically downloaded when you set up a second language. But I got exactly real problem when I working on something. Cool. That's the answer. The answer should be like, go to the Drupal site. That's special for the language package. You have manually download. Good. How to translate standard user interface? It's just user modules, so it doesn't matter. How to translate the configuration, like custom field, content type. Think about it. Okay, here's a question. How to translate a menu item created by views? I take a couple hours to figure out what's wrong with it. So it's worth to do that. You have an idea? So you must do something working on. You have to go to, you cannot change in a menu. You cannot, usually you go to menu, critical item, you have to translate your menu like English to French, you type another menu item, matches out. View.
From Taxonomy, or from, or what's the?
No. This menu, when you go to view, there's option called add this page to the menu. You create a menu there.
Yeah.
So how to translate this menu item?
Create a menu.
No, run. Have no idea. Here's the thing. You have to.
Configuration wants to translate, if it wasn't translating it correctly right there, it's like in that.
No, because it's everything about menu item, you have to manually translate. Yeah, so same thing, but you cannot do it in the menu. You have to go back to the view. View, there's a feature for the translation feature in the view. So you use the view and go there and translate there. Okay, here's our Drupal cache system work. Just understand the basic idea. A static cache and a dynamic cache. So for the site builder, don't worry about dynamic cache. It's a programming issue. So you just understand where should be turned on. Different cache. Oh, here's a question. Yeah, that's right. Like anyone to go to website, what kind of cache should be used? It's just static cache. You just set up performance page. And how about the editor? So for this case, you have to use dynamic cache. You just understand what dynamic cache is. For the editor, you have to use a dynamic cache, not a static cache. Otherwise, you change something, you will not see the page change, right? So, okay, text form aggregator development. This is the basic stuff I will not talk about right now. Just understand what are filters and how to use, when would you need them, and how do they help secure the site. This will be related to security of the website. They will not ask questions how to use text format. They just give a story. A website is hacked by some editor, blah, 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 blah. So you have to choose which one is the best for this solution. So what's the aggregator and what's it for? That's just a feed issue, so it doesn't matter. Dev. Dev is built in the Drupal. It's not built in Drupal, right? It's in the call, the dev module?
No, you gotta download it.
You have downloaded? Oh, skip it. Drupal community, and I got 100% correct for this one because just 2 questions. So, but you have to understand like how to get involved. The maintainer, how to report. I got a question about how to report a bug, a module. Just go to document and do something and report something you can get. So easy as go. Here's 2 videos I highly recommend if you want to take the test. First is for beginner. If you are totally beginner with Drupal, you have no experience with Drupal 7, 8.6, just watch the video. It's free. This video also have a book on Amazon, a very popular Drupal book. It's called Drupal site build or something, but exactly same. You watch video is enough. You don't have to pay money for the book. Second one is called advanced. It's called a Drupal 8 site builder class. It's more advanced. A lot of things like a view, contextual filter, multiple language, something like that. So watch them at twice for each of them. I watched the second one 3 times. Sometimes you know something just fast speed, two times the speed, but something you have to take care to watch them. So here's the thing I'm talking about. There's no such questions in the test because this is simple questions. How to create, how to configure, how to create content type, how to edit the user role, how to create a view, how to create a vocabulary or terms, how to install module thing, how to create block, blah, blah, blah. No such questions anymore. So you have to think about something like you have to combine at least 2 concepts in one question. That's a user stories in the test.